Good Wednesday morning, everyone. For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle here in Caracas, Venezuela. We're going to begin this morning in Argentina, where the investigation continues into the death of a prosecutor in the case of the 1994 attack on the Argentine-Israeli Association Mutual. Telesur correspondent Leo Poletti-Caduti brings us more from Buenos Aires.
According to the specialists in the case of the 1994 terrorist attack of the Argentine-Israeli Association Mutual, the death of prosecutor Alberto Nisman is the epilogue of a long black history.
The whole EMIA case since its inception has been marred by confrontations in fighting between different sectors of the Argentine intelligence services themselves, and also with the participation of foreign intelligence services like the CIA and Mossad. Somehow the case became a sort of hunting ground.
In a letter, Argentina's president detailed her work in the search of the clarification of the case ever since her time as a legislator dating back to 1996.
I agree with the insights made, especially with the questions put forward by the president. I agree 100%. Cristina has always insisted, ever since her time as a legislator and since her work in the Commission on the Attack, that the AMIA case would not be resolved if the intelligence services of Argentina is not investigated.
The president reiterated that the trial for the cover-up of the terrorist attack, which is planned to go ahead this year, seeks to divert, lie, cover and confuse the population in the same manner as was done with the main trial which commenced 21 years ago.
I have no doubt that Prosecutor Nisman was unfortunately manipulated by these Secret Service agents who had accumulated a lot of power over many decades. They are largely responsible for the fact that the AMIA case has not advanced an inch.
President Cristina Fernandez adverted that it is conspicuous and suggestive that some sectors are trying to accuse the government that has done the most to solve the case of obstructing justice. From Buenos Aires, Leo Poletti-Caduti, Telesur.
And thanks to Leo, we go to Honduras now, where authorities had originally claimed that the chikungunya virus was under control following an outbreak there. Now, despite those claims, many new cases have been reported. For the extent of the outbreak, here's our correspondent Gerardo Torres.
2014 saw the first ever reports of chikungunya in Central America. Chikungunya is a contagious disease transmitted through mosquitoes that has similar symptoms as malaria and dengue. In Honduras, in 4 months, only 18 cases were confirmed in the capital, but in the first 20 days of 2015, there has been more than 50 reported cases. The authorities of the principal public hospital fear an epidemic which they don't have the resources for.
With the capacity that we have, well, it's not enough to resolve a problem like the dengue in 2010, when we had over 11,000 suspected cases. But if we only have the capacity to take 30 patients in the pediatric area, it should also be remembered that now we don't just have dengue, but also chikungunya.
In 2014, the majority of chikungunya cases were reported in the village of San Francisco, 30 kilometers from the capital, Tegucigalpa, and few cases in the capital. This year has already been several cases from the south and from the bigger cities of San Pedro Sula and Puerto Cortes.
Chikungunya lasts longer than dengue. It lasts for 15 to 20 days and is mostly joint pain. The children and teenagers who are coming here often can't even walk. First, they have a rash, then strong fever and pain in their joints that debilitates the patients.
The Pan American Health Organization has made several recommendations to the Honduran government to declare the general epidemic and take actions, but there is still no official notification about an alert. Gerardo Torres, Telesur, Central America.
Thanks to Gerardo. We go to Peru now. That's where multinationals have a monopoly on HIV treatments. They make a profit off of people who need the medications. As our correspondent Raul Mora reports, some have organized now to demand that an end to that practice.
Dozens of HIV patients held a demonstration in front of the Ministry of Health to end the monopoly of the U.S. pharmaceutical company Bristol-Myers Squibb over the retroviral Altazanavir, which is used to treat HIV.
Those of us who live with HIV in the country are complaining that the Peruvian state is overspending our money as citizens for the purchase of one medicine. The Peruvian state could have saved more than $30 million buying the generic version instead of its brand name Monopoly One.
Mario Rios, the lawyer representing the patients, submitted last month an official request to the Minister of Health to end the monopoly. The request was supposed to be answered by the 8th of January. Since the deadline has passed, patients have decided to submit a complaint to a judge.
We are asking the judge to request a response from the minister to the organizations that have been placing this demand, and that the minister, through a judicial requirement, respond to us regarding the measure that he will take. We are asking him to declare the theme of the Alzheimer of national importance.
The Peruvian government pays for HIV medicine for most patients. Declaring the medicine a matter of national interest would provide a legal background to end the Bristol-Myers Squibb monopoly. The company sells each 300 milligram pill for $10 to the Peruvian government, and that amounts to close to $9 million a year. In contrast, the same dosage costs less than 50 cents in neighboring Bolivia. Reporting from Lima, Peru for Telesur, Rael Mora.
Thanks to Rael. Historic negotiations are set to take place later today between Cuba and the United States in Havana. Now, despite that, Cuban officials have warned that full normalization of relations won't be possible until their country is completely free from Washington's decades-old blockade. A Cuban foreign ministry official also said yesterday that Havana should immediately be removed from the United States list of state sponsors of terror. He argued that the island nation's inclusion on the controversial list is, quote, contradictory and unfair. Deadly shootings at the offices of the Charlie Hebdo magazine have cast a light on France's geographical, social, and ethnic apartheid. That's according to Prime Minister Manuel Valls during his New Year's address to the media. It comes as one of the starkest indictments of French society by a government figure. Rundown neighborhoods surround many French cities, often populated by poor white and black communities. That's along with people of North African descent who feel marginalized by mainstream society. Yet it is rare for a French leader to paint a picture of inequality in such strong terms. This has been interpreted as hypocrisy by the Communist Party, which pointed to the neoliberal economic and social policies that Valls' government is implementing, deepening the same apartheid he seems to now deplore.
Relegation of some to the suburbs, ghettos, things I was already talking about in 2005, a geographic, social, ethnic apartheid which have been developing our country's social misery, to which is added daily discrimination, because you haven't got the right surname, the right skin color, or because you're a woman. It is by no means, and you know me, about looking for excuses, but we also have to look at the reality of our country.
And in Zambia, presidential elections were held yesterday. Despite some concerns, voting remained mostly peaceful. 11 candidates are contesting the elections and results are expected tomorrow. Edgar Lungu of the ruling Patriotic Front appears to be leading the race along with opposition leader of the United Party for National Development, Hakainde Hichilema. The winner will become Zambia's sixth president after the death of President Michael Sata last October. The candidate will only serve out the remaining 18 months of Sata's term. Next. Representatives of the Houthi movement in Yemen are controlling the government palace. The members of the group, led by Abdelhamid al-Houthi, have closed all the windows of the presidential palace and set up control points in all the streets that access the building. After confrontations, the fighters had forced building employees and guards to abandon the building. The head of security forces has called the move a coup. And we end on an unusual, or perhaps not so unusual, election candidate in Mexico. Clown and mayor hopeful Guillermo Cienfuegos registered his candidacy on Monday, then met with supporters in Guadalajara. Perez collected 23,000 signatures in order to be able to appear on the ballot in the mayoral elections. Wearing his clown outfit and using the campaign slogan, "It is time for a real clown to govern," he has mocked Mexican politicians and accused them of being disconnected from voters. Plenty more on those stories and others at our website, telesurtv.net/English. Back with you in just a few hours with the latest headlines. For Telesur English, I'm Cody Weddle. Have a great Wednesday.